For 10 years, the police in Taipei were hunting a ghost. He only appeared when the sky turned black and the rain turned the city into a labyrinth. They called him the Raincoat Thief. He was the ultimate shadow. He was supposed to have robbed 7 banks, executed heists with military precision, and made off with over 40 million new Taiwanese dollars. He knew every blind spot in the city. He knew exactly when the patrol cars would turn the corner. He was always one step ahead, because he was one of them. The man behind the mask wasn't a career criminal from the slums. He was Wang Yuan, the son of a legendary high-ranking police chief, a man who grew up in the shadow of the badge, using his father's own tactics to pull off the most perfect string of robberies in Taiwan's history. But even the perfect ghost leaves a trace, a decade of perfection, destroyed by a single cigarette butt. Tonight we go inside the files, 3 proven heists, 4 unsolved mysteries, and a double life that shocked a nation. This is the true story of the police child who became Taiwan's most notorious shadow. This is The Case of the Raincoat Thief. Chapter 1. The Monsoon Mask. They say in Taipei, the rain doesn't just fall, it swallows the city. In the early 2000s, the rain became a signal. While most people sought shelter, one man saw the downpour as a tactical advantage. He was a shadow in a yellow plastic cape, an apparition that appeared when the visibility was lowest and the police response was slowest. For 10 years, the Raincoat Thief was the ultimate enigma. He wasn't just a robber, he was a ghost that haunted the financial districts. His targets were armored trucks, the moving fortresses of the city's wealth. His weapons were high caliber, and his heart was cold. But the most chilling part of the legend wasn't the millions he stole. It was the fact that he seemed to know exactly what the police were thinking before they even arrived. It was as if he had been trained by the very people hunting him. In this investigation, we pull back the plastic hood. We look at a decade of terror, a family legacy destroyed, and the thin line between a hero and a monster. We look at the 3 heists that defined his downfall, and the 4 shadows that still haunt the cold case files of the Taipei Police Department. Chapter 2. The Proven Crimes. Justice is built on evidence, and for Wang Yuan, 3 specific dates would eventually seal his fate. These are the cases where the ghost became a man. Case 1, the 2005 strike, Taiwan Business Bank, December 2005. The first case where Wang's MO was undeniable. Under the cover of a standard Taipei drizzle, he intercepted a Taiwan Business Bank delivery. He moved with a military gait. He didn't waste words. He took NT $11.57 million and vanished. This was the first time investigators saw his escape loop, switching vehicles in areas where he knew the CCTV was blind or broken. Case 2, the 2007 bloodbath, Taiwan Cooperative Bank. This is the day the city stopped viewing the Raincoat Thief as a gentleman bandit and saw him for the predator he was. During a heist at the Taiwan Cooperative Bank, a veteran security guard named Shu stood his ground. Wang Yuan didn't hesitate, he opened fire. Shu was killed instantly. Another guard was left with permanent disabilities. Wang made off with NT $16 million, but he left behind a city demanding blood. This was no longer just about money. It was about a killer. Case 3, the 2012 final act, Taiwan Business Bank, March 2012. After years of silence, the ghost returned to the same bank chain he hit in 2005. He shot a guard in the legs to ensure compliance. He netted NT $12.5 million. He thought he was invincible. He thought the rain would wash away his tracks one last time. He was wrong. Chapter 3, the 4 shadows. While Wang Yuan eventually stood trial for 3 heists, a darker question loomed over the courtroom. What about the others? Between 2002 and 2004, 4 other armored truck robberies occurred with terrifyingly similar patterns. The first traces back to 2002. A man in a cape, a motorcycle escape, a surgical understanding of timing. Police investigators firmly believe these 4 cases were Wang Yuan's apprenticeship, the period where he refined his tactics. However, in the eyes of the law, these remain unsolved. Wang never confessed to them. The physical evidence, the rain-soaked fibers, the grainy tapes, wasn't enough to cross the threshold of beyond a reasonable doubt. For the families of the victims in those 4 shadow cases, there is no closure. They watch as Wang is sentenced for 3 crimes, knowing in their hearts there were 7. This is the frustration of the Taipei detectives, knowing who the killer is, but lacking the one piece of DNA that links the early years to the final arrest. Chapter 4. The Double Life. The shockwaves of Wang Yuan's arrest didn't just come from his crimes, they came from his pedigree. Wang was a police child. His father was a legendary precinct chief. His mother was a former officer. He grew up in a household where the law was the dinner conversation. He didn't just understand police procedure, he lived it. He knew how patrol routes were drawn. He knew how detectives prioritized evidence. He used his father's legacy as a blueprint for his own survival. The socialite mask by day, Wang Yuan was the picture of success. He was a semi-pro water skier with a physique that turned heads. He lived in luxury, driving a Hummer and a BMW, frequenting the most exclusive nightclubs in Taipei. He was the cool friend who always had cash. No one suspected that the man buying the next round of champagne had spent the morning cleaning a semi-automatic rifle in a dark apartment. Chapter 5: The Single Mistake. How does a man who evaded the law for 10 years finally fall? It wasn't a massive gunfight. It wasn't a grand betrayal. It was a cigarette. In 2012, near his escape route, Wang Yuan discarded a single cigarette butt. It was a momentary lapse in discipline. In the 90s, this would have meant nothing. In 2012, it was a death warrant. Forensic teams extracted a DNA profile. When they cross-referenced it with the surveillance of his luxury BMW, the puzzle finally snapped together. The airport capture, May 2012, Taoyuan International Airport. Wang is minutes away from fleeing to mainland China. He has the cash, he has the plan. But as he reaches for his passport, the handcuffs click. In a nearby locker, police find his arsenal, an M4A1, handguns and grenades. He was prepared for a war that he finally lost. The end of the ghost. In 2013, Wang Yuan was sentenced to life in prison. He is a man who had everything: the looks, the money, the family legacy, and threw it away for the thrill of the hunt. Today, the raincoat is a piece of evidence in a box. But for the people of Taipei, the story remains a chilling reminder. The most dangerous criminals aren't the ones who don't know the law. They are the ones who were born into it. Chapter 6: The Anatomy of a Collapse. The boss, Wang Mirage. By 2012, Wang Yuan had stopped being a thief and started believing he was a god. This was his mask of sanity. In the elite water skiing clubs and high-end, very important person lounges of Taipei, he wasn't a monster. He was Boss Wang. He was charismatic, robust, and excessively generous with his cash. But this ego led to his first tactical error. For a decade, he only struck when it rained, a rule that made him a ghost. But in March 2012, he decided to strike the Taiwan Business Bank on a bright, sunny afternoon. He thought he was so much smarter than the police that he no longer needed the rain to hide. He wanted to prove that he could beat them on their turf, in their light. He didn't realize that the Taipei police had just spent $20 billion on a new weapon, a citywide, high-definition surveillance net. The forensic masterclass, the cigarette team. When the ghost stepped into the sun, he left a trace. This is where the investigation became a masterpiece of modern forensics. Enter the cigarette team. Investigators found a single discarded butt of a Davidoff light near the scene. Because this specific brand had a niche following, the police didn't just check the DNA. They tracked the supply chain. They visited every convenience store in the district, manually reviewing thousands of hours of footage. Finally, they saw him. A man with a distinct, slightly out-toed walk, a gait common in heavy-set athletes, buying those exact cigarettes. When a veteran officer showed that footage to a contact in the sporting world, the reply was instant. That's Boss Wang. He's a regular at the water skiing club. The ghost finally had a face, a name, and a habit. The accomplice. The dangerous money note. But a man like Wang Yuan doesn't live in a vacuum. For 7 years, he shared a bed and a mansion with Lin Xianglan. When the police finally closed the net, Lin disappeared for 4 days, reappearing only after cutting her long hair into a short bob, a classic attempt to shed an identity. She claimed she was a victim of his lies, but the evidence in their Taoyuan mansion told a different story. Police recovered a handwritten note she had left for Wang. It read, "Dangerous money earned with hard work. Spend it slowly, it can last for many years." This wasn't the note of an innocent bystander. It was the note of a partner in crime. It revealed the domestic reality of the raincoat thief. They weren't just spending money, they were managing a blood fund. Every luxury car and every square foot of their mansion was registered in her name, a calculated move to launder the millions he had bled from the city. The ultimate irony, a father's legacy. We must address the shadow that hung over the entire trial, Wang Yuan's father. This wasn't just a police child gone wrong. This was a surgical inversion of a hero's life. Wang's father had been a precinct chief who was once decorated for solving a major armored truck robbery in Taichung. The very tactics the father used to save the city, ballistics analysis, patrol timing, and perimeter cordons, were the same tactics the son used to terrorize. Psychoanalysts suggest that Wang Yuan's heists were a decade-long conversation with his father. He wasn't just stealing for greed. He was stealing to prove that he had mastered his father's world better than the old man ever had. He was the perfect son who became the perfect criminal. The verdict, the price of the ghost. In the end, the law did what the rain could not. In 2013, the Supreme Court of Taiwan handed down the final judgment. Wang Yuan, sentenced to life imprisonment. The judge noted his absolute lack of remorse and the cold-blooded nature of the 2007 murder. Lin Xianglan, sentenced to 8 months for receiving stolen property. The dangerous money had finally run out. As Wang was led away in handcuffs, the socialite boss Wang vanished, leaving behind only a middle-aged man who had traded his life for a few years of luxury and a raincoat. The heists are over. The cases are closed. But the question remains, in those 4 shadow cases from 2002 that remain unsolved, does the ghost still walk free? Chapter 7. The Mastermind's Mirror and the Final Silence. The global comparison, professionals versus amateurs. When we place Wang Yuan on the global stage, we see that he was part of an elite, terrifying breed of insider thieves. Compare him to Alan Pace, the mastermind of the 1997 Dunbar armored robbery in Los Angeles. Like Wang, Pace was a safety inspector who knew the security camera's blind spots. He used his professional knowledge to steal $18.9 million. But while Pace relied on a team of 6, Wang Yuan worked almost entirely alone. In the world of high-stakes heists, solos are rare because there is no one to watch your back. But there is also no one to betray you. Or look at Leonardo Notarbartolo, the man who led the Antwerp diamond heist. He spent years posing as a diamond merchant to study the vault. Wang Yuan did the same with the boss Wang socialite persona. These men didn't just rob buildings, they conquered them through long-term social engineering. The unsolvable legacy. Despite the closure of the 2005, 2007, and 2012 cases, the raincoat thief remains a controversial figure in Taiwan's legal history. Why did he only confess to 3? Legal experts suggest it was a final act of control. By refusing to confess to the 4 shadow cases of 2002 to 2004, Wang ensured that those victims would never truly have peace. He took those secrets to prison as his final leverage. To this day, the Taipei cold case files remain open for those 4 heists, ghosts that even modern DNA has yet to fully exorcise. Conclusion: the end of the reign. Today, bank security in Taiwan has been fundamentally transformed. The raincoat thief era forced a total overhaul of how armored trucks operate, moving away from predictable routes and implementing high-frequency GPS and smart alarms that didn't exist in the 90s. Wang Yuan is now a number in a cell. His Hummer and BMW sold off to pay back a fraction of what he stole. His girlfriend, Lin Xianglan, has long since served her time, a reminder that dangerous money always comes with a price tag that eventually comes due. As we look back at a decade of terror, the story of the raincoat thief is more than a crime report. It is a cautionary tale about the ego of a man who thought the rain would always be his friend. But in the end, it wasn't a tactical squad or a hero cop that caught him. It was a single cigarette, a tiny human moment of weakness that proved even the most perfect ghost is eventually made of flesh and blood. If you found this investigation fascinating, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We dive deep into the world's most impossible cold cases every week. What do you think? Should he have been charged for all 7 heists, or did the law get it right? Let's argue about it in the comments below. For more on the dark side of history, click the video on your screen now. Thanks for watching.